Who would have thought the Raiders would have started out 0-2? Well, actually, maybe a decent bit of people, because this division is really, really tough. It's one of those divisions where no matter how good you are, there's likely going to be a team that's going to miss because of how good everyone else is. Obviously, the Raiders added, Devonta Adams, that one wide receiver guy that's, kind of decent. Outside of that, though, didn't really do much. Chandler Jones, on paper, was a big addition, but so far for them has really not showed up at all. Max Crosby's been as great as ever. I feel like Nate Hobbs is severely underrated here. I know a couple of Raiders fans that, I've been seeing them talk about him since last year, and so far he's off to a hot start. Yet he's only a 77 overall still. Obviously, in general, the weak point of this team is the defense. Obviously, a bit of a choke against the Cardinals. Not that it was all on the defense at all. I mean, the offense really did nothing to waste that clock. But it's a team that definitely needs help on defense, specifically on the interior. Week 1, they actually looked kind of decent against the Chargers for the run defense. But yeah, I mean, especially in Madden, they have issues. Max Crosby only being a star dev, same as Rashawn Gary. Both of those guys should be superstar plus. I have no idea why they aren't. I'm not going to boost his dev. I'm not going to boost his overall. Same with Hobbs. There's a couple of these guys here that should absolutely be higher and higher dev, but that is just not the case. Of course, quarterback is a very important topic, as for years now, I feel like the question marks have been, okay, is Derek Carr good enough? Okay, yeah, he is. And then it's like, well, maybe he's not. It's like, there's no guarantee with him. He can make all the throws, but the decision-making at times is just puzzling. Like I said, when he's on, he is on. He's almost as good as anybody, but then you just have those bad decisions that end up losing games. Of course, Devonta Adams has been great for them already, as expected. Waller's one of the best tight ends in the league. Renfro, he's been a little inconsistent so far to start the season, but obviously he's a great route runner. Jacobs has been really good. O-line we don't talk about. This was probably the number one concern going into this season for this team, is that offensive line. And, I mean, I've seen some okay things from them, but for the most part, it has been pretty rough. Even with Colton Miller at times being included in that. I don't know if he's just being required to do more, which, I mean, you can't really say that. He maybe just had some tough matchups. But overall, this team needs a revamp on the O-line. Skill positions we might be completely fine on, though, and then the interior of the defense, maybe some other players. Also, Abram kind of looks like, what's his name? Nacho from Breaking Bad. Doesn't he? Like, at least here. I don't know what he, like, if, this picture just makes him look exactly like him, but he kind of looks like him a little bit. But yeah, let's get this rebuild going, and it's probably the only time we're going to have a chance to rebuild a team like the Raiders. Is I can't imagine they're going to be well under, 500 anytime soon. I mean, you know what I mean. It's going to end soon enough, as the Titans are really reeling here, and the Broncos, their identity's all over the place. They look like they could be beat by almost anyone at this point. But we'll see, and we'll see what happens in this rebuild. It could be a weird one. We got a couple of weirdly aging players, and we do have a lot of positions that are going to be needing to be filled, and who knows, with an 0-2 start, this could actually be a team that misses the playoffs. But also, we do a decent bit of rebuilds, franchise stuff in general on the channel, so if you're new, maybe subscribe. If you're not new, really appreciate your continued support. Maybe leave a like. Well, you can wait a little bit to decide that. But one of the biggest things you can do for me is let me know what team you guys want to see next rebuilt. I might throw a couple more like fantasy rebuilds in where we actually make proper trades and all that. I do want to make more trades in these rebuilds though, so I probably will do that going forward, especially if a player needs a contract. If we don't feel like paying them, there's always going to be another team that needs a position that they're willing to pay draft picks and money for. Hey, yeah, you have first Breaking Bad and then Better Call Saul. Pretty damn good acting, I'll tell you. Now a star dev safety for the Raiders. This guy does it all. Let me tell you, it's been a very, very, very bad season so far. And we are now on to another depressing part, which is where we realize how broke we are. We're going to give Josh Jacobs a 5-year $40. Happy to stay. Finally, I get a rebuild early on where I don't have to pay everyone absolute bank. Jonathan Abram wants to stay. A 5-year $34. No longer term commitment, no deal. I mean, how long do you want to be here? I don't even know if I'll be here that long. 5 years? Really? And it's not even like a 5-year deal. It's another 5 years. Like, we're going to be here for 5 years plus that extra year. Rock Yassin is actually pretty damn good for his overall. I also thought he was older than that. I thought he was like 27 last Madden. This man's got a time machine. A 3 or 24 at worst. Number 3 is not terrible money for him at that point. Jam Brown, I think we might be able to do better. I don't know if, I think we can do better. Holy crap, there's a lot of names, but luckily they are kind of all backup level talent. So, Abram, obviously I want to keep, and Perriman on those years, absolutely not. I'll give you a 1-year deal worth 10 flat, which is actually not, and at least somebody knows it around here because Nate Hobbs is a superstar. Well, we got Abram back, but what we don't have is a play. Oh yeah, I'm glad we beat the freaking Chiefs by 1 when the season was over anyways. Like, really? They needed the win badly. We can beat them, but we go 7-10? I didn't change anything about the scheme because, well, I mean, it's kind of a new situation going on. What am I supposed to do? Like, I just started. I just got here. Yeah, I mean, I would like a little bit more consistency in either the wins or the losses. I don't want to see win-loss, 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 lose, 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 win, lose, win, 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 lose. I want to see one or the other. Derek Carr's numbers yards-wise was pretty good. Touchdowns, not bad. Picks, pretty low. Jacobs, yards a little bit lower than I would have liked. Receiving, Devonta went off. Waller went off. Renfro went off. Keelan Cole, not bad either. O-line, terrible, as expected, though. Max Crosby with 20 sacks. And on the other side, the guy that was supposed to, alleviate some of the issues for him did nothing. He got 3. Nichols with 4, and, I mean, nothing really else to show for. But, oh my God, Abram is a superstar. We now have a superstar corner that we are paying 5-year, $40 million deal for, which is still not cheap. But for Madden terms, it's kind of a dub. Carlson was pretty bad. A.J. Cole, one of the best punters in the game. 54.1, which is really good numbers. Maybe DB of the year with Abram, but outside of that, I don't think we would have had anything at all unless they make a new award of, like, cutest quarterback wide receiver duo, and even then, I don't know if they would win it. Oh, yeah, Crosby was really good, actually. So, got a couple of awards, but we went 7-10, so I don't know how to feel about it. Of course, the decision for draft will obviously come from a little bit from free agency, but also in general, what kind of regressions we may have from some of our bigger positions, like Chandler Jones could like completely fall off here. He absolutely deserves to drop down a superstar. And speaking of Chandler Jones, the Cardinals in the Super Bowl, but losing by 4. DevOps, I'm not sure we would have had one on offense, and we did not, sadly. Defense, though, Max Crosby, superstar. Abrams, superstar. Hobbs, stays superstar. The fact that Chandler Jones didn't drop in Dev is ridiculous. And the fact that he is, he's pretty good still, despite the fact that his overall dropped massively. Like, his overall went down a ton, but his finesse and power move are still amazing, even though he's really slow. And did Derek Carr drop? I mean, look at how far he dropped. Okay, I'm getting a little out of rebuild mode here, but look at how far he dropped as a star quarterback, putting up 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 picks. What do you think would happen to a 2-year-older Kirk Cousins with normal dev? I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. Of course, I don't think Carr played bad enough to actually drop those, so I'm actually just going to reboost the exact ratings that he lost and just put him back on, because he's also 32 only, so I'm not really sure why they have QBs regressing at 32. Like, if they put up a ton of picks, then maybe, but that's not really a season that would signify bad quarterback play, right? So Perriman, he didn't really regress hard, but I still would not have felt comfortable giving up a 4-year 34. That 1-year 10, I think, is still very competitive, and he would like to play for a new team. What's that tag? 13, that's about 14 mil. I think we could do better, or just in general save that money. Averett might have actually went up in dev, but actually, let's take a look. 28 years old is a little up there, but slot corner, it's not bad. I think if you're actually playing the franchise, that wouldn't be a terrible player to go for, but I don't think speed really matters too much in Sim, so we're going to avoid that. There's a couple of players here that actually are decent kind of depth players, but overall, we just don't need them. We can, once again, do better and cheaper. But with that being said, I think we have to be very selective with what we do here in free agency. Like I said, in real life, I don't think investing in offensive line is a bad idea, But in-game, it might be. It might be because the offensive linemen just kind of suck no matter what. It's all about position, not even overall. A wide receiver wouldn't hurt, putting Renfro at the number 3 spot, but I suppose, he is, even though he's small, capable of playing the Z. Yeah, I don't think he's a number 1 wide receiver, believe it or not. But yeah, he could play the number 2 easily. Linebacker, we obviously lost like everyone. So if there's a decent bit of linebacker, that probably is a position we'd go for, and a DT or just someone for the interior would not hurt either. So yeah, I mean, with the dev ups we got, I feel better now, even after the regression from Chandler and some of the lost players, at linebacker and all that, than I did to start the season. But looking at free agency, you do see that offensive lineman in Elton Jenkins could steal another Packers player with that. I don't really think that's necessary, though. Maybe go cheaper and less long-term while we try to draft and develop. But yeah, there's not really a whole lot going on here. It's a pretty weak free agency. Anya Mata, though, could be a decent little player while we try to build up that position. Jam Brown wants a 3-year, $10 million deal. That's it. I mean, at that point, and he's really willing to come back. That's not bad. And Dre Greenlaw wants crazy money, and yeah, I get it. He's star dev, but 26 is a bit hard to develop. I'd be willing to do a 4-year 24. That's a little bit more, $6 million per year, but I highly doubt he'll take that. Oh wait, there's teams interested in him and they're willing to pay close to value. Oh, screw you then. No way. They're that dumb. Okay. So we didn't get Chark, but we actually got all of our other contracts. A 2-year 28 for Rob Havenstein. He's actually a pretty good overall. Anyamata was a 1-year 11. Jayon was a 3-year 10. And we got ourselves a young guard for a 4-year 20, and he's star dev, which is maybe not the hardest guy to draft in the world, but, for right now, when we don't want to spend every single draft pick on O-line, grabbing 2 linemen to start when we only really need 2 more down the line here isn't terrible. Of course, no one else wants Chark, so a 3-year 15 is my offer. Take it or leave it, simply put. We have pick 10, and there's a couple of decent players in that round, 1 spot, which I think is usually like 5 to 15. So we'll end up seeing, what happens, I suppose. But cornerback, pass rusher is probably the number 1 and 2, needs. Don't really need, I can't say that. We don't really need corner, but there's some really good corners in this draft, which makes me think that. And I have a really good feeling, even though they don't need him, the Vikings are going to take our pass rusher. And they don't, which is very interesting here at 10. Ben Murrell is a very interesting guy, even though he is 6'1", a little undersized, in my opinion, for, 3-4 edge. But 4'6", he's obviously a very good player. Do we have anyone else? We don't, but this cornerback, he looks like an absolute can't-miss god. And unless we're going to trade down, I think you take the guys that look like clear-cut, great draft picks, especially with Rocky Sin. Not sounding a crazy expensive deal, could easily play the slot instead. I know this guy at 5'10" is a little sliverly undersized, but if he's a real talent, can play him at number 2 and have our cornerback set for probably the rest of this. So I'm going to take the shot on him, and he is hidden. He is also very fast, and he is going to make this secondary pretty damn unstoppable, or unbeatable, I guess. You don't really need to stop them. They need to stop you. Now, our guy was hidden, but considering Hobson is still here in the second round, I'm kind of feeling a little dumb. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm feeling a little stupid. But we also do have Zach Harris, a 6'6", pass rushing linebacker with B power move and a B block shed. He's pretty athletic at 6'6". I'm gonna take a look at some of the other players, but I think that might actually be the route we go here. And it is. That's the guy we're gonna take. Zach Harris, a 1 to 2 that's still there, which was worrying me a little bit about the hidden development trade, if he is or not, but he looks pretty good. He's huge. We're gonna grab him. Zach Harris, he's hidden and a bit slower than I would have thought. He's also kind of looking like a knockoff Zadarius Smith here. And now we are looking at probably drafting a coverage linebacker. Taylor Stanley looks really good. 6'1", 224, A zone coverage, B tackle, blazing fast 40. I don't think you can go wrong with this guy. And he is normal, but 88 speed, 88 excel, 88 agility. He's an athletic freak. And he will be our new number 2 middle linebacker. And depending on what that DT look like, I might even trade up because it's kind of all we need is one DT. Although I'm going to be honest, I'm not feeling too great about it because he's, it's very iffy. We didn't get enough time, chances to scout everyone. At best, he's a B power move, C block shed, which is pretty iffy. So I think we may pass on him. I kind of want to go for Darren Ringer now. He's also pretty damn good, and we kind of need multiple linebackers. Even though we paid Jam Brown a 3 or 10, he's also still not like the best long-term option. And then O-line, we need like at least 1 or 2 guys. Rucker looks like a really good choice, but as a day 3, we might have to trade up. I'm just going to go to pick 10 and just hope one of the 2 players there, linebacker or O-line. There's a couple of linemen there, so maybe one of them at least is there. But we're about to find out, and ooh, Rucker's still there. Absolutely taking him. He looks like a great player. Realistically, I probably should have traded up for him. F lead block, so a little iffy. He's also a little weak, a little undersized. Probably a center for us, but AJ Rucker, hidden development trait, 84 strength is definitely better than I would have thought at 28 reps, but that's a good draft pick. Damn, the center I was going to go for is gone. I mean, it's a day 3. Could have literally went like right after our pick. I might go for one of these wide receivers because they're on the faster side. We kind of need, a burner on this team. We don't really have one. And at worst, he would be a kick returner if he sucks. So I think that's what we're going to do is we're going to take whoever is the best looking of the speedsters. Actually, no, this guy wasn't even a speedster. He was a jump ball guy. I put him on the list in case I wanted to scout him a little bit later. 21 years old, a 6'3". I was like, yeah, he could be something. This guy's the speedster, a 4.32. I'm willing to take him. Eric Towns, normal development trait, but as you can see, really fast. I mean, that's blazing. And hell, screw it. The cornerback's here. He's super fast. He's tall. He's young. Why not? Calvin Andrews, 93 speed, 92 excel, 6'2", 21-year-old corner. That is not bad. And now this is a weird one for me. I always check the punters and kickers just for the hell of it, just because I have to, pay one of the guys. And, if I find someone that's decent, I don't have to pay them. I could just rock the rookie contract. But this is a team that really doesn't need kicker or punter. However, this guy is too good to pass on. Elite kick power with an A accuracy, A awareness. He could be a very high overall, and I think he is. Oh my. 99 kick power with hidden dev traits. I imagine he's superstar. I imagine he's a superstar. I imagine he's the best pick we had as well as, this guy could be like a 78, maybe even 80 overall, perhaps. That's insane. A awareness, A kick power, and accuracy, of course. As you can see, 99 kick power. Can't really ask for much better than that. Oh! Okay, so he is star, but 64 overall. He was a 79. But yeah, the corner is an 80 overall. Depending on overall from Daniel Carlson, especially after the way he just played, I'm just saying, is Schmidt the kicker? There's needy teams out there. Daniel Carlson could go for something. And, of course, superstar development trait. So, I don't know if he's technically a generational because they talk about generationals being, little X factors. But I think that might be their definition of a generational kicker, right? Because we've seen a couple of those now, and they're all superstar. They're all, very high overall, 99 kick power kickers. I'm just going to go on a limb and just say that, that guy is a generational. But the pass rusher, a 64 overall, he's actually not that raw. He's got 72 power move, 74 block shed. That's not terrible. What is his dev? That'd be sick if he was like a superstar or an X Factor. I can't imagine he would be, though. What number do you want to give him? 52 would be an interesting conversation. 56 is not really my cup of tea. I guess 90, it's going to be some crazy, guy that, he's like a legend for them. But star development trait, Parrish. This could actually be a generational player, especially with that catching, and he's high overall. That'd be sick, but something does actually tell me star dev, which is going to be real painful. And no, it is. I think that's a generational player. That's going in the title. That's some clickbait, baby. Clickbait in the most humble of way, though, because obviously, yes, it's clickbait, but clickbait is used in a negative sense, connotation, whatever you want to call it. But this wouldn't be negative. This would, just literally be it's a title that baits people to click. baits them in, but it's not like a bad thing. Bait is considered bad, right? Like if you're going fishing using bait, it's like, yeah, you can have this little bit of food, but you are now food. See Rutgers Dev, start of elementary. I'm going to put him at center. I don't even know if he's going to start. The guys, even though they're not very long-term players, they're actually okay overall is the one that's, ones that are already on the squad. Calvin Andrews, we've drafted a bunch of corners, and we already have a bunch of corners. And with that zone being higher than man, I think he actually is going to be our safety, especially since we lost a few of our backup safeties to free agency. I'm going to put him at number 29. But yeah, what is Schmidt's... Oh, we already actually looked. What am I even thinking? We already looked. I was like, what is his awareness, his kick power and awareness and all that? And it's like, we've literally looked 3 times now. But now I want to see Murrell. I mean, Murrell would literally have to be an X factor for us to have regretted the selection of the cornerback. He is a 75 overall. He is hidden development trait. He's pretty athletic. 78 finesse is pretty solid. Obviously, he doesn't really have the size that I'd be looking for on the edge, but his player traits are superstar. I mean, considering the talent we have on the team and our needs, I don't know if I would say I regret him, but I can say that either way, you wouldn't feel bad about either way. I think you'd be happy with whoever you got. Look at the speed here from Bradley, the Seahawks. Love that speed. So who knows if we'll actually be successful at all with the current playbooks we have on, but I feel like we did a decent job in the offseason. One of the biggest needs for this team was obviously the offensive line, and Havenstein is a massive upgrade at the tackle spot. Adding Rucker, who has long-term potential, is great, and Mutai is also not a bad guy to add. He's a 73 overall with insane strength, and I'd feel pretty comfortable running behind him, just to be honest. He's an absolute powerhouse. Of course, the skill positions are pretty much, the skill position player is pretty much the same. We need an actual fullback here, though, because like Yeboah is like the only backup tight end, and you got that situation going on. We have a fast slot wide receiver. Who knows what his development will look like. Defense, we could have done better. However, our safeties, our DBs in general, are absolutely set. Crosby's obviously set long-term. Harris could be the long-term option once Chandler's gone. Linebackers still probably need to work on. Onyemata is just like a one-year rental type player. Maybe he has enough in him for another year or two, but as far as like would I see him being the long-term like best option, probably not. But for now, I would definitely say so, as he is a power rushing monster. Left end, we never fixed it, but still a better team than last year, and in some of the core position needs for a team. So I always try to use the example of the Rams, where like they have a lot of holes on their team, but they have such good players at huge positions like pass rush, corner, wide receiver, quarterback, that it kind of fills out. They make up for that. So with us having that kind of situation going well too, maybe we're good enough. Another year of contracts. Bilal Nichols at this point is still a lot younger than I would have thought, and power move sucks, but he's a good block shedder. So if he is interested, which he is not, I mean, I'd be willing to do like a 3-year 30 if he's down. I mean, if he's down to, fool around. I mean, what? 3-year 30, 10 mil per year. That's a little rough. We're kind of broke, but we don't have to pay anyone yet. Technically, Onyemata is actually not bad. If he's willing to take a 1-year 9, which is a little bit of a pay cut, yeah, I mean, I'm a little worried about that. I'm a little worried about it, but I suppose for him specifically, we aren't locked in forever. However, I do worry. Like I said, I worry because, well, actually, if we lose Chandler Jones, I imagine that saves a bit of money, right? One would assume. But yeah, I mean, some of the contracts we've taken on here, okay, Andre James is going to be a huge savings for us at least. Maybe Daniel Carlson as well down the line. But, okay, I mean, I'm just kind of worried about, when we have to pay Renfro and Max Crosby, that it could become a bit of a problem, but I suppose it's not, actually, they might have already paid. Didn't they pay Renfro? It was like a 2-year 28, I thought, or something weird. All right, we went on a massive losing streak, and thus, of course, we win last 2 games. Love that. Missing the playoffs. We are officially going to be changing the playbook or playbooks next season, as this clearly is not working out. We could beat a team like the Chiefs, but then lose to a team like the Chiefs. We lose to the Bears, which makes 0 sense, and losing to the Steelers is probably off the books as well. Any other crazy losses? Vikings, fair enough. Titans, probably not, but fair enough. Packers, fair enough. Broncos, fair enough. It's just tough being in this division. That's all. That's the moral of this rebuild, no matter how it ends up, finishing out, whether we kill it or not. Tyler Huntley looking like a god, by the way. But Derek Carr, better season than last year by a little bit. Still deserves to stick around at that overall. So if he regresses again, we'll probably fix it. Jacobs a little bit better of a year. Devonta Adams a bit better of a year. Waller was better. Towns stealing the show a little bit here. Renfro, though, better yards per catch than him, though. So, a good team effort. The offense looks really good. What can I tell you? The blocking is terrible because EA doesn't know how to code that. The pass rushers splitting at 13.5 each, which is really cool to see. And then the D-line at Bilal Nichols at 6.5, yet Onyemata at 3.5, a little iffy. Stanley, a linebacker, put up 8 interceptions. Could he win best linebacker and best rookie and defensive player of the year? He could literally win, he could go to an X Factor from normal in 1 year. I'm pretty sure that's what they did this year. That would be insane. It's a pretty good year, but I don't know if it's that good. Of course, Josh Allen, the MVP of the entire freaking league. Defensive player of the year at 3. Obviously, the rookie of the year. Best linebacker. Please, no! All the way at 8. He's going to go only to star after an 8-interception season as a linebacker. That's a bit harsh, but regardless, headed to the Super Bowl, trying to build up the roster yet again. Despite the fact that I feel like we have a good enough team, we just aren't performing based on the playbook, I'd say. It's hard to tell, though, because the offense actually looks pretty good. It's just we're not winning because we're going against really tough teams that are higher overalls to start, and we're trying to catch up. 31-15, Colts over the Panthers. I would actually be kind of down with that as it's something kind of new. Of course, speaking of that, overall start, this Raiders team is an 80 overall, believe it or not, to start the game, which is pretty low, actually. It's kind of on the bottom 10 rank, I'd imagine. Man, oh man. There's a bit of a difference in these numbers, and it's in the correct spot. If there was ever a time for us to move on, boy, oh boy, is this that time. Let me tell you. We're also kind of broke. I don't know who we have to pay down the line here. We'll have to take a look. Other than Max Crosby, I'm not even 100% sure who. But let's actually take a look. Just so, about 26 mil left. Chandler Jones is a guy that you can maybe even replace now. He did have a 13.5 sack season, so no, you can't. Damn. I was going to say he'd probably actually have a little bit of interest still at this point for a team that's, making a push. Also be in the best interest for him. And we're going to have to pay Renfro, but his number is actually probably pretty close to what he's going to ask for anyways. So that's not the biggest deal, but have to pay the free safety as well, Nate Hobbs. So honestly, we might be losing some players here if we don't get rid of Derek Carr. But at the end of the day, I think if Derek Carr is playing well enough, maybe he's still the guy down the line. But this is going to be one of those situations where we're just not going to bring in new names. We just can't afford to bring in new names realistically here. Some pretty damn good ones, too, but there's just nothing we can do about it. We are literally broke, with or without Derek Carr. We'd probably have 30 mil extra, after figuring, paying the safety and Renfro again and all that next season. So, even then, we really don't have a whole lot of money. But what's our draft pick, I suppose, is the answer. 8 and 9. I didn't look at quarterback last season because I felt like it was a little early. Derek Carr's contract we're kind of stuck with still, but maybe that wasn't the worst time to look at QB, so I'm really hoping there wasn't a decent one there, but let's take a look at the draft pick. It is 13. We can obviously use the future to trade for a quarterback too, so it's going to be interesting, but this could be a quarterback situation. All right, so there are quarterbacks, but honestly, if it's not going to be Edwards out of this list, I do not know if we're going to make a play at quarterback. So we're going to move down a little bit and see what we got for ourselves. The Vikings could take QB. They probably will. They do not. The Texans could, and they probably will. They do. The Jets don't need one. The Lions do. Do we make the play for this quarterback? Actually, we do have a couple of guys here. We got William Harrell as well. But he is really slow. But his accuracy is up the through the roof. This guy's an interesting player. Because he's got a B deep, C medium, D short, C under pressure. But he's a 6'5", 229 pounder with 4'6", 140 elite throw power. A-Truck, A-Stiff Arm, I don't know how true those ratings are, but he's a very interesting player, but I can't tell if he's good. I wouldn't be able to tell you that. I would love to have Edwards out of all of these players. I just don't know who's going to go where. And if the Jets take a QB, we're not going to be able to make a play with the Rams or the Lions because they're going to take a QB. We're just going to go for it. And here we go. The Rams could be our team. Really? I mean, I don't think the Falcons are going to need a QB. Are we just going to have any choice we want here? Almost. The Falcons won't take a QB. Well, they could. Please don't. I think we're just going to have the choice. There's no way these two teams take a QB, right? Thank you. Okay, well, we didn't have to make a play at a top 5 quarterback, which could also mean that they suck, though. Is Harrell our guy or Edwards our guy? I think Edwards is our guy, right? DeAndre Edwards, he's not the fastest, but he's pretty damn good. I'm going to take him. DeAndre Edwards, potentially QB1. Hidden development rate, 92 throw power, 79 speed. That is so disappointing, though. Look at the excel, agility, and change direction. It's insane. But the speed, the number one need. Change agility and speed, or you're cooking. You're set. We trade 45 and Divine Diablo to the Eagles for pick 33, which we're actually going to be using on a defensive tackle. He looks really, really solid. A, power move. B, finesse. C, block shed in fairness, but looks really good. So Pierre Tompkins is going to be our guy. And not really a surprise, he's hidden development trait. That face in the game, I do not know who decided to put that in. It is interesting. 77 and 141 for 66 from the Dolphins, which is, 11 spots. It's not super high at this point, which is where we're going to be taking a brand new left guard who's probably going to play right guard if he's hidden. If he's not, might be a wasted pick, to be honest, but he looks obviously really good. Brian Payton, welcome to the squad, and he is hidden. A little bit on the slower side, he's a mauler. Look at him, 3'3", 6'6". Big boy. Okay enough speed, I suppose. Okay. And now we have a tough decision because it's like, we want Stanley, because we already have a Stanley. And he looks good as well. But you also have this corner, Daryl Sears, who looks really good, and he's 6'4". I mean, this guy's insane. There are talented players still on the board. Even Proctor is probably worth taking. Gilbert Moss. There's some, McElroy. Some really good players here. But, what can you do other than trade up next year's stuff? I don't know if I'm in the market for doing that other than for Stanley because that's a literal need, whereas the other guys are kind of just they're really good. You don't want to pass on them, and, you're kind of thinking about the future. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move down until it is down to Stanley and one of the... Well, Stanley could go first, but it's down to one of the guys left between the four. And we got all the way to our pick. The last two remaining players are Evan Holloman and Darren Stanley, so Stanley's going to be our choice. This guy seems like a super steal, even if he's normal dev. I think he's still I still think he's a decent player. I really have no idea how he's still there. Then we're going to the 5th round. I can't trade up anymore. Holloman looks okay, but, we don't really need a wide receiver that bad. But if he's here, I may trade up for him. He's still here. He's got an A catch in traffic. He's 6'1". He's decently fast. I'm going to make the play on him. Why not? I've done worse for less. I feel like, I've said that a few times in a dark alleyway somewhere. We got a 6th this, a 7th this, and a 7th next year. They're dropping quite a bit, but they are gaining a lot of quantity. No 6th or 7th round picks, but landing a lot of really good players, and we'll see if this is another one of them. Evan Holloman, who is normal development trade, 93 speed, 95 excel. Jumping sucks, but he's actually a lot more athletic than I would have thought. I thought maybe his agility would be pretty good and his change of direction would be pretty good, but I didn't really think his speed and excel would be that great. Pretty solid stuff, actually. But all the other players, pretty solid-looking players on the base stats. And, yeah, could the quarterback be a waste? I don't know. It was a good pick, but once again, if Derek Carr plays well, we kind of have to keep him around for realism's sake. But let's take a look at this draft recap as we finished a pretty good draft of hiddens. And, wow! some pretty good overalls, but look at the wide receiver at 76 overall. Release sucks. Medium and short, or medium and deep suck. But short route's great. Catching traffic's great. He's so great. How is he such a high overall? Short route's great, and his catching is great, but everything else is really bad. Like, the release, jumping, deep route are extremely bad, and the medium route's not too much better. That's a little confusing. Quarterback-wise, I mean, if this is like, a fantasy rebuild, there's no doubt in my mind to start this guy. I think we're going to come down to seeing who plays better in preseason to make the decision at this point, because, once again, sure, Carr's individual numbers look okay, but we missed the playoffs back-to-back years with this offense. I'm just saying. Star development trade, a little bit of an L, to be honest, but Derek Carr is star development trade. Of course, Pierre Tompkins was a really good pick. He's an automatic starter at left end. Power move's pretty good. His block shed's not even that bad. I think he had a C, wasn't it? And he had 71. Like, that's literally what I would expect a C to have, and normally they're way worse than what I expect. Of course, our starting left end, Brian Payton, the new right guard, as he just has more, potential than Parham, because he's 4 years younger, and he actually has hidden, which is star development trait. And what was the other player? Stanley was also hidden development trait. And honestly, I mean, it's not like Jayon has done miraculous things for us. Stanley, the other Stanley, came in and crushed it. So why wouldn't this one start? Like the other one crushed it, playing the exact role Jayon played and made him look bad. So I'm just saying. Of course, let's take a look at these overalls. Number 1 for Jason Jones. Not the fastest guy in the world. Yeah, he is 6'5", I was about to say, but if he's tall, wow, this guy's pretty good. If this guy's an X Factor, this is like kind of a Mike Evans clone here. Maybe even a little bit faster, although he's only star, which is a mad L. What was the other? So let's take a look at the quarterback. So Cordova, gotta remember, we did have the chance to pretty much get anyone we wanted because the trade-up wouldn't have costed us that much. So if there's some crazy devs in here, which we start off with Superstar, great. Could be a huge L for us, but let's see. More so, though, as long as, none of the guys we passed on had better dev than the guy we took. But once again, our guy did look pretty tough to pass on based on the key ratings and all that. Star dev for Seattle's guy who was ahead of us, also 2 years older, which is a mad L. Harrell went right after us, a 73 overall. What's his dev? Hidden, really good throw power. Quarterback for the Bears. Okay, I don't also know why he's looking at like Kurt Warner literally now. Superstar development trait, but what can I do? What can I do? Like, he didn't look better than him, simply put. He wasn't even close. Jeffrey, 72 overall, normal, dev. Yikes, that's a bit of an L. Okay, well, that's not good. What about the other quarterback we were looking at? Which one was it? It was this guy, 72 overall, 6'5", 229, 99 throw power. Why is every quarterback wearing 16, by the way? 99 throw power. And as we were talking about the agility thing, literally the opposite of our guy, which is like a huge win for, if you were using him. Let's actually take a look at his dev. Of course he's superstar. Why wouldn't he be? Why wouldn't he be? There's a lot of quarterbacks in the first round here, whether it's barely in the first round or not. Another hidden development trait guy. This guy's really fast, the traditional scrambler type, if you will. 23 years old, though. What's the trait? Star dev. So, definitely didn't grab the best quarterback, but also didn't grab the worst quarterback. Should have went with Underwood, though. So, this is actually a massive win for the Packers. We traded them Daniel Carlson and Parham for a 4th-round pick. A 4th-round pick. They had no kicker before getting Daniel Carlson, and of course, we saved like $3 million, and we obviously have a quarterback. Oh my God, they suck. We obviously have a quarterback or a kicker that is just as good, if not better, when you consider the fact that we don't have to pay him much, and that he has 99 kick power and 80 accuracy. Wow, look at the free agents here. I'm not going to sign them because that just wouldn't happen. 88 overall, 87 overall, especially IU because he's a wide receiver. Interesting, EA, interesting. All right, here we are for year 3. Of course, this is what the roster looks like, but we are going to be paying attention to the preseason numbers, as if Carr is outperformed by the youngster, I'm just saying, the youngster may have to start. I'm just throwing that out there. We have a new scheme, So we should have a playoff team, I'd hope. Looking at the defensive side of things, it's looking really good. We actually forgot to look at the dev-ups, didn't we? Offense appears that nothing happened, whereas defense, the rookie Stanley did end up going... did end up going from star to or normal to superstar, which is awesome. Really cool stuff. And then it looks like Max Crosby went up in dev, which is not surprising. And Abram is an X Factor, which, I mean, that's a bit of a shock to me. He's 27, but that's a little bit of a shock to me. I mean, that's really impressive stuff. I like it, but going to pay attention to those preseason numbers, see who the quarterback is starting for this year. Obviously, we kind of have to root for the youngsters. We picked them so high, but that's not really how it goes. We're just gonna have to go and go with the hot hand, really. Why do we play the whole NFC? Is that a thing that happens, actually? How did we play the whole NFC North? But I don't know who's the better quarterback. I really can't tell, because you look at this first game, it's Carr as the starter, which means he didn't play that much. He's 6 for 10, which is pretty decent. Our guy was 20 for 34, had 0 touchdowns with a pick, but he did put up 243 yards. It's like, it's hard to tell, but I guess I'd give Derek Carr the nod there. But then you look at the Vikings game, we were able to actually win when Edwards was the starter. He had 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, similar yards, but he had a lesser passer rating because Carr was a little bit more accurate. And then the final game where I think we put Derek Carr back at the starter, you don't really see anything from either of them. It's a close call with Edwards slightly being better, but would you be able to move on from Derek Carr because the rookie was slightly better? I don't know. I think we're going to let Derek Carr be the starter, and if he struggles early, we're losing games early, we're going to put in the rookie. With the Chiefs playbook, Derek Carr is off to a 1-2 start as the starter. 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I think it is time. All right, another 3 weeks have passed. We are 2-1 with a new quarterback. How is he playing, though? And maybe more cautious, but also in that sense, being more productive. As, of course, his passer rating is way higher. Yards per game isn't even that much worse. The percentage is better. Obviously, the touchdown to pick ratio is better. It's going to be a learning process, but this isn't me scripting anything. I wanted to go the realistic route, which was continuing to start Derek Carr. He played worse, and I think it's time to move on from him. Wait, is DeAndre Edwards a superstar now as well? I mean, he's the new kid on the block, what can I tell you? All right, free agency, Hunter Renfro. Actually, pretty fair contract. Oh, Hobbs, please. Please, Hobbs, let me live. Let me live. Do not take every dollar we have. That's all I ask. 5-year 35 for Merrig. Thank you. Let's take a look at... Let's just take this damn Band-Aid. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. I mean, he's worth quite a bit, to be fair. A 5-year 70 for his talents, I think, is probably fair. This is perfect. Yeah, no crap, it's perfect, because he probably would have taken like a 5-year 60 at minimum, max, I don't know, one of the two, whatever helps us, maximum, minimum. Hunter Renfro, he's interested, so a 3-year 38. Hey, this has been a pretty nice re-signing period. This has been kind of chill. Of course, we signed a fullback with Star, so a 3-year 7.2 for that young man, and 30 mil left to go. Obviously, Chandler Jones is good to go away. Havenstein, he's kind of good, even though he's played badly. A 2-year 17? Okay, so 22 mil left. Going to be letting go of Derek Carr next season, maybe even trade him off for like a second-round pick at worst, I would imagine. And we're a 7-3 with the rookie quarterback. What can I tell you? Like, the rookie quarterback has legitimately only lost 1 game as a starter and has won 7. All right, headed to the playoffs, and we're actually in them, which is great. And we have a bye week. 3-14. We lost to the 3-13 Panthers, 13-12 Panthers, excuse me. A lot of flubs there. Who've turned into a 15-2 team, which is pretty impressive. Like I said, this quarterback has gone off. I mean, there's, in a good way, of course, not like, you leave the milk out. And I say milk, not milk. He's literally lost 2 games in his career and has won, 12? That's a pretty good rookie year considering Derek Carr was absolutely dragging us down. I didn't change the playbooks at all. And I think the touchdown to pick ratio, when you've seen it, that threw me off a little bit, proves that. His numbers are literally what Derek Carr's were, but a little bit more efficient considering he also didn't play those 3 games either. Jacobs' touchdowns are down, but the yards per carry is up, which is nice. Wow, where is Devonta? He might be down to superstar after that one. Renfro was pretty good, though. Blocking was amazing. The Chiefs' playbook's kind of juiced. Pass rushing was very good. Tompkins, the rookie, put up 9. Abram with 6 picks. I mean, you can't go any higher than X Factor. This guy's going insane. The rookie quarterback, or was the rookie quarterback we drafted, did really well. This could be a oh, wow, Tyler Huntley. Okay, that's no wonder why he did well. He joined the Buccaneers. But any quarterback can do well there. I mean, what do you mean? Of course, did we not? Oh, we're in the... Okay, well, that's kind of the wrong... I was about to say, surely we won Rookie of the Year, but... Yeah, I mean, a couple of awards, bye week. Could this be a Rookie Year Super Bowl win? At home in the divisional, going against the 1 overall less than us Cincinnati Bengals, with the Titans awaiting the winner of this one to see who will win the Super Bowl spot for the AFC side. And right now, it is a close one as we see ourselves in a 3-point lead. Please score a touchdown, us. I had to say us because they had a chance to score there last second. -3 yards. I was going to say, I don't want to come in and, decide the game, but our rookie quarterback decided to call game, apparently, in the worst way possible. The speedster Cruz, let's see what he can do. Not a whole lot, to be honest. 44 seconds, 78 yards, and a timeout. See if we can get any blocks at all. We can keep it to the middle of the field if it gains significant yardage. And that's pretty decent. A swat last second. Throw power is not actually bad for this quarterback. It's a little weird that ball took so long to get out there. Jacobs' quick throw could be an option if we know he's going to get out of bounds. And there goes Devonta Adams, actually, who is going to get a huge first down to the 49-yard line. Going to try to spike this. 19 seconds left with a timeout. Holloman's pretty good. Can I run Renfro inside? Maybe that drags the safety out, perhaps. And Waller is so open. That wasn't even close. Red zone scissors is a pretty decent play usually. They're also giving us a chance on this with the way they're lined up on defense. And really, Devonta just doesn't get any separation. They want us to go for the damn Hail Mary again, but no, I don't want to do that. Although, we would look really stupid. Okay, they kind of look like they're giving us Waller for free. We'd look really stupid if we don't even at least try a Hail Mary. But we do get that play to Waller. 35 yards away. Last play. See, this is why I don't like the Hail Mary, though. Because, you have Devonta Adams, on his own over here. I'm not going to throw it into, into triple. And the ball is, completely, there's just no chance. There was no chance at it. They, ran past the defenders. They just kept running. And, of course, the rookie quarterback's going to end up losing us that game with that awful pick. Really bad game from him. The pressure was just too much. It's obviously an early situation for him. The Raiders know all about quarterbacks not being able to win playoff games, so they're not going to be too mad just yet, but it is still frustrating. Take a look at potential dev-ups for the squad. Offensively, it appears none. No dev-ups on offense, and then defensively... I don't think we had any dev-ups here either, but obviously we didn't really need any. The team is already pretty good the way it is. Also, I thought we're broke, right? This is another, I'm recording this on another time, but I thought we were broke or we're going to be broke. Although we're getting rid of Derek Carr, so maybe not. I think we have a lot of players to pay next season, but obviously with the rookie quarterback working out, Derek Carr, easily tradable for a second-round pick, I'd say, is going to be on the move. But yeah, as far as negotiations go, Chandler Jones just isn't the guy. I don't even know if Zach Harris is the guy either. Wow, Chandler Jones did have a pretty good year, though, and he's better than that overall suggests. But if Harris is ever going to start, this would be the year, right? I suppose with how cheap that deal is, I don't expect him to take it, but if he takes a 1 year 6, I'm all about it. Yeah, I figured so, but yeah, 1 year 6, I think I had to offer it at least. At least I had to give him a chance, If he wants to stay on that, even as a backup perhaps, I don't think it's bad for either side, But before we do anything in free agency, I'm going to be looking for the highest draft pick for a second round of a team that needs a quarterback. Like Lamar Jackson, maybe he's a free agent. He's not. The Saints. Jeffries was a normal dev guy, and he didn't seem to do well enough to get a dev up, so they could be the team for us here. Clearly don't really believe in pick. He's already 27. I keep forgetting how freaking old he is. I think Pittsburgh, even though they're in our conference... Nah, we got to look for a team out of conference, don't we? Oh, the Vikings just casually don't even have a quarterback at this point. I suppose the Vikings are the team. Literally, in my opinion, the guy that most people can see as very similar, even. Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr. Obviously, they don't have a quarterback, but they have plenty of money for one. So I think this is a win-win. High second-round pick for Derek Carr is absolutely worth it for both sides. And the Derek Carr saga is over, sadly. Devonta Adams doesn't have that much longer in his career to go. Would he demand a trade, maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure, but I think we have a really good quarterback in place right now that he couldn't really be too mad with. Lots of wide receivers, speaking of, that are good, but we don't really need one necessarily. Like, in real life, you probably need a new number 2, but in game, you really don't, to be honest. So, unless you're going to sign someone like, DeAndre Hopkins, who is apparently like a 3-year 49, which is a little iffy, I don't know if you can really do that, I just don't see it being a smart call. So maybe we look for like a pass rusher or something, but honestly, we're probably just going to save our money to re-sign the guys we need to next season. We lost Shaquille Barrett, but we added Brandon Ayuk on a 3-year, nearly $40 million deal. I offered Shaquille Barrett a 2-year $40. He decided to go to the Rams for about $7 million less. I really don't want to develop a damn pass rusher, but at this point... it kind of seems like that's the only option, as it was going to be either him or Away, and they're both gone. So I guess we're going to be rocking with Harris if we can't find a better pass rusher in the draft. I was like doing a bunch of trades, and it just didn't go right away. But we added Danielle Hunter to the team for a first and second round pick this year. Adding, once again, Danielle Hunter, who I feel like we are one pass rusher away, really, at least based on last year, and a little bit more development from being the Super Bowl champions. I really feel that, and the pass rusher I wanted went pick 8. I thought maybe he would have been there around like 12, and I could have made a trade up, couldn't. So Danielle Hunter, who is now 30, believe it or not, is going to be the star pass rusher opposite side of Max Crosby, adding some real athleticism there as well. And with our high pick in the second round here, we might be looking at DT, and really, the issue now is money. However, we have a young quarterback that's on a rookie deal, so we should be fine. I'm really debating on grabbing this Tim Albert guy because he looks insane with the A-man coverage, C-zone, B hip power, 21 years old, super athletic. I need a DT, but all our DTs are 3 to 4s. It's either trade down or grab this guy, and I think I'm going to grab him. And he is hitting development trait, 92 speed, 91 excel, 91 agility. Don't know how Merrick is looking lately, but I think we do have him on a long-term contract anyway, so that's kind of irrelevant. But gives us some options, I suppose, at the DB department. And really, this is the round where I suppose... oh, we only have one lineman? Did the other one just go or something? I thought I had 2 linemen and several DTs, in which I would assume Hurts is going to be my best choice, but I suppose Sheffield's not terrible either. So I'm probably going to make a trade up here for Mr. Bruce Hand. Even though we don't really need a line. Yeah, we don't really need a lineman just yet. It's really about thinking about the future. And that guy looks okay. He probably will be hidden, but it's not that big of a deal. So I'm just going to wait until we're down to just Hurts or Sheffield. We trade 92 at 124 with a 6 next year to move up 20 spots with the Niners to grab potentially our starting defensive tackle, believe it or not, in Mr. Hurts. Gil Hurts. I mean, if you're out of water, I imagine it would. A tackle, A finesse, C block shed. 22 years old, looks pretty athletic. Welcome to the squad. Welcome to the bench. Yeah, it's probably going to go down to whoever's the biggest guy and has the best block shedding to actually play DT for us, but it's a little bit of an L, I'll be honest with you. Don't know what that voice means, but I said it. And honestly, I might trade up because we have that high 4th, but there's nothing... this guy, he had like a B to D zone, and considering, he's fast, I was like, oh, maybe he has a chance. He's awful. He's awful. And B to D sounds interesting. Honestly, at this point, I'm probably going to wait till Higgins or Hand is gone, and, whatever's left over is what we take. Kind of hoping the DT goes, though, because I'm not saying the guy we got is great, but I mean, he's literally the same prospect. Well, I guess we're going for DT again. But he's like pretty much the exact same as the guy that, we just got, basically. So unless he has better dev, it's pretty much drafting like almost the same type of dude. Although B block shed, so I don't know, maybe keep that 6th. I mean, we are mad trading our picks. Like, we are getting low value back for these. Let's see, can we do anything like we probably have a ton of corners to get rid of now, right? Since we have like literally like the best cornerback group in the league. Jalen Jones, you want him, right? You know you want him. It took Matthew Butler, the 71 overall 26-year-old, to finish the trade. And this will kind of almost finish our draft. Hoping for the best with this guy. We'll find out. Mr. Cedric Higgins, welcome to the squad. And also normal and also worse. Well, he's better strength, but he's a lot slower, obviously. Next pick, I think, is a 5th rounder or a 6th rounder, one of the two. We can use some depth, and once again, this guy actually looks pretty decent. A bunch of A to C's. Worst case, that's all C's, and he's fast. 85 speed, 88 excel. Not actually terrible. Little bit of an L in this draft. Oh, the player we don't really need is a 78 overall. That's always cool. Man, that's still a little bit of an L of a draft, not going to lie. Like, we did end up using a lot of our value for Danielle Hunter, but if we would have landed like one superstar or even like a star dev DT, it would have been super huge, but we obviously didn't get that. Put him at number 30, and he is star dev. I'll show you guys the guy we wanted to get after we look at the actual talent of Gil Hurts. 82 finesse, he's actually pretty good. He's actually not bad at all. Probably will be our starter, as Higgins is really just not looking great. I mean, he's just bad at everything, really. But the pass rusher we wanted was Mr. Max Nichols, who is hidden development trade, insanely fast, great block shedding, solid finesse. Can't wait to see this guy being an X factor. Also, number 32 is disgusting, so we're going to change that on them. 50... it's better than 32, though. And he's a superstar. Sweet! The guy I wanted is a player that was worth getting. And then here was Sheffield. This is the guy I would not have went for out of all of them. Even though he's pretty decent, I would have not. So if he would have been great, I don't feel bad about it because I think Hurts was the best prospect. And you can see that by the overall. It's just didn't get lucky with the dev. So a little bit of talent with that safety, and then obviously Danielle Hunter. But as far as like us actually drafting goes, a bit of an L, to be honest. All right, Season 4, the year that we really can take off with this quarterback who's already an 82 overall. Devonta Adams is 98 overall. He's dropped a little bit, but he's still a 32-year-old. I don't know how that's still a good thing, but obviously he's a god. Let's take a look at the other guys. So 88 wide receiver 2, 88 wide receiver 3. This is an ultra-talented offense that should have no excuses for putting up like nearly 40 a game, to be honest. And now defense, elite edge rush, elite DB play, lacking on the interior a little bit, so maybe you question, our chances of stopping the run, but this is the best team in the league. There's no question about it, and with the youth that we have, this should be a team that gets even better near the end of the season. Hey, Gil Hurts is a star development trade player, freak 10K XP on top of it. So re-signings, we have AJ Cole, who is a very good punter, and I want to keep him forever and ever and ever. A 3-year 11, he's apparently happy with it. I would be happy with it too, because he is a punter. Colton Miller has actually been pretty decent, but that is also a lot of money, so I might as well just make a clean 4 for 90, and he'll take it, obviously, because that's insane money. Rock Yassin, he's been a great player, but we're going to let him go, and I really thought Renfro needed a contract this year, but I guess not. Headed to the playoffs, I think we need this win to go, and we missed at 10-7 because the entire division was 10-7 or better. Wow, this division's tough. I don't even know if I would call this a failed rebuild if we don't do something next season, which will be the last year we do anyways. But it's just proof of how good this division really is. I mean, 12-5, 10-7, 10-7, 10-7. I mean, that's insane. Let's take a look at the numbers. Edwards, 40 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 4,600 yards. A pretty damn good season, actually. Jacobs has got to go to superstar minimum, dude. 24 touchdowns, 1,518 yards. Devontae was great. Waller was great. Renfro was pretty decent. Ayuk was awful outside of the touchdowns. Actually, a devil worshiper as well, apparently. Blocking was actually really good. Pass rush, where's Danielle Hunter? Please. Please! I traded everything for him. Come on, man. He's going to be a star dev. Literally everything seemed great, yet we still didn't make the playoffs. Bruh, I feel actually scammed. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, what am I supposed to do? Oh, my. All right, let's see our dev ups and dev downs that we are certain to have. Hey, Jacobs is a superstar. That's what we're talking. Wow, Renfro regressed hard. Hunter didn't go down in dev, surprisingly. Stanley went up in dev to X Factor, and I guess it was just Jacobs we thought would go up in dev. Did Tompkins have another really sick season? He's still normal, or a star anyways? Still got that face. Yeah, 9 and then 11.5, which is pretty insane. I mean, what do you go for? I mean, this is the last season coming up here. I don't know if we can get rid of Havenstein just yet, but even though he's playing well, I would kind of like to because, I mean, his overall is kind of low, but he is a really good run blocker. In general, he's a really good player, but run blocking he's really, really good at. But at this point, it's just play another season. Hopefully we're good enough to win the Super Bowl or even get there. I think we've kind of done what we could do outside of, like, because we know this is the last season, spend every dime we have trying to make a God squad. Outside of that, though, I don't think there's much of an option. So I'm probably going to do what I normally do and, pretend like there's unlimited seasons, not go too crazy. If we see somebody that we feel like can absolutely put us over the top, maybe we do it. But outside of that, I mean, it's just we aren't doing it, I suppose. And was there someone else in there? I think Zamir White, but, like, let's be honest, like, who gives a damn? Yeah, everyone else is pretty much backups. And man, this has got to be the weakest free agency class I've ever seen. You've got a few players, but we don't really need the positions that are available. And man, it's not great. It's really weak. Like, there's literally nothing. Like, at this point, it's either trade your draft picks again for a proven talent or draft for the future that we won't be a part of. Wait, there's a salary hit of 40 mil in Devonta's last year? That's absurd, dude. Yeah, I mean, I think next season's the perfect time to call it. I mean, Devonta's going to retire shortly, and we have all these players that need to be paid, and Waller's going to regress hard. Devonta might regress hard. No Bilal Nichols, no Rob Havenstein. Our left guard needs to be replaced. You got to pay the left. I mean, this corner. It's really like, okay, well, we maybe have a window of 2 or 3 years because of the rookie quarterback, but we're going to be a lesser team than we are last season and this upcoming season. So if you're not going to win it last season or this upcoming season, you're probably not going to win it at all. Well, we've done it again. More expensive picks on a defensive player. Pick 18, pick 50, and a 4th round next year for Kenny Clark. I'm done. We're all in again, and there's no turning back at this point. There's just none. We're trading Bilal Nichols. We're going to trade him for Brent Dawson from the Bills. I got to imagine 79 overall guard has got to be maybe hidden or, was hidden once upon a time. And if he is, man, what a dumb trade by them. Oh, wow, what a dumb trade by them, dummy dumbs. That's our new right tackle in the future. Not that we'll be here. I didn't even really do a whole lot of scouting. I'm just entering this draft. I see a bunch of A's. Adrian Atkins, 3rd round pick. Why not? Hidden development trade. Easy clap. We have literally no draft picks. And I'm not trying to rush the end of this rebuild. It's just we made all those, trades for, players. And the draft picks are lacking. So it's, why would I do in-depth analysis? Oh, maybe I can trade up for this guy when, we're literally, like, busted. Like, we're all in on the players we have. Screw the draft. The draft can suck me. We're not waiting 15 more years. Actually, I might actually try to find a running back. This guy is too slow. Sidney Thompson sounds so much better, but 91 speed, 92 excel, 92 agility, change directions lacking, but not bad based on the athleticism. We also grabbed a fullback who's a 70 overall. Of course, the random guard I just randomly looked at is a very decent overall of 75 overall. He's built more of a center type than a guard to me, but obviously it's what you need in the future, and Dev is star. Of course, the running back was 67 overall, and then the fullback actually looked really good on his base ratings, but his run block sucks. Maybe he should be an offensive lineman with 68 pass block, no run block. All right, the final season, year 5. This is what the team looks like. 87 overall quarterback, 97 running back, 98 wide receiver, 90 wide receiver 2, 85 wide receiver 3, 91 tight end. O-line really hasn't seen the success that I would have thought. Maybe it's the scheme, like maybe the team's not getting like the XP that they deserve, because I have all the O-line on like 160 and it's just not happening. Defensively though, D-line, some of the overalls might be bad outside of obviously Kenny Clark, but Tompkins has been killing it and he's a 92 power move D-end, so what can you say? I mean, he's good. The pass rushers are insane. The middle linebackers are solid, even though their progression's been a little halted. The DBs are easily the best in the league. And I will say, It's been a while since we talked about Hobbs, but he really hasn't upgraded too much lately. Also, his man probably sucks. Yeah, we're kind of juiced in the zone, but not the man department, which is a little bit of an L. And speaking of, apparently our left guard, Tompkins gets his first of 2. He's got 10k XP. We've had some run of games lately, and we now have an X-Factor quarterback. We won 55-7 against the Chiefs. All right, we have a fortune of money here, but we also have some players that are so old that we might not even be able to keep them around. But we're going to try to see how many of these players we can keep. So we're going to go from importance to least importance, which could also be factored in by age. So we're not going to get too crazy with saying who's the best and who's the worst, but that didn't work. That's unfortunate. The cornerback, please tell me he's interested. God damn, dude. Like, take the deal. A 5-year 101. Ooh, thank you. I'm glad. That's actually not terrible money considering how good he is. 20 per is pretty good for a talent like him. Kenny Clark, I don't know how good he'll actually be for us, but a 2-year 44 works out. He's not that important, but our D-line has been one of the biggest issues, so there's that. Kicker has been pretty good for us, and of course he is literally the best you can ask for. So a 5-year 23, still with 101 mil. Ooh, 5-year 48 for this linebacker, and he's interested, is a win. Now we'll do a 5-year. I was going to do 6, but no, we're not going to do that. 92 mil left. Definitely want to keep Rucker for sure. A 5-year 58.5 is good. 81 mil still left to work with. How good has he developed? He's a good run blocker, but I think we could actually replace him. Save quite a bit of money in the process as well. Edge rush is an interesting one, especially when, even though Zach Harris hasn't developed, he is pretty good still. 82 finesse. I think I'd let knockoff Zadarius Smith go to free agency, though. And then as far as Devonta, there's no way I would ever be able to do a 3-year at 33 years old. So a 2-year 52. He's glad to stay. So, I mean, that's a lot of money, but, it is what it is. We get him back. You get Max Crosby. We'll have like 20 mil left to go, but we'll have to replace multiple linemen. I almost forgot about Waller, but a 2-year 25 for Waller as well, which is also pretty fair. I offered him a 145 over 5, and he won't take it, which is 29 mil a year. I mean, it might just be Max Crosby going to free agency, or we tag him. Not that we'll even be here for that, but he has been very good in fairness, but still, that's crazy. A 150 over 5, he will not take it, which is 30 million per year. Super fair. 50% plus of it is guaranteed. It's Tag City for this guy. I mean, this is a really good season. We lost only one game. It has been so long since we've went undefeated in a rebuild. This was almost that time. 16-1, haven't changed the playbooks since like year 3. And this is how the season went. We lost to the freaking Jets of all team. To negate us of an undefeated season was the Jets. Once again, it's not the Jets you would probably know of, but still, it's the Jets. 61 touchdowns. Okay, I mean, that's a few touchdowns, some would say, I suppose. Yeah, he's the best quarterback in the league. He's very good. The receivers were all great. Even Renfro was decent, considering you had, 3 1,000-yard receivers and him not too far off. O-line was great. Really great from Havenstein. Only 3 sacks allowed. That's crazy. Of course, defense. The offense must have just been killing it, because defensive numbers, tackles-wise at least, pretty bad. Daniil showed up. Hunter showed up. 15 sacks for Max Crosby. This is the best team in the league, and if we don't win it here, we'll never win it. Simply put, we're going to have players regressing, players we can't afford to keep, and also maybe even some retirements, perhaps. Lawrence Underwood, a guy that was very tall and decently fast. He's the MVP of the league. Wait, 1 second. I didn't even think about that. Really? Over Edwards? We're going to have to take a look at that. That's kind of nuts. Even this. Where's Edwards? 4th? Really? Best quarterback? Okay, at least we got that. And apparently, best running back as well. And wow, okay. Yeah, I got to take a look at that Underwood fella. He must have had like an insane touchdown to pick ratio, just like out of this world, right? 61 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. That is apparently beat by Wow, okay, I can see why. 60 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. What is happening? Did they add an extra game or two and I didn't see it? I don't remember ever seeing 60 touchdowns in general, let alone 2 in the same year. That's absurd. You can almost argue that we were still MVP, though. I'm not really sure why we didn't win it. I don't know. They just looked at the yards being slightly higher and then, 1 touchdown versus 1 pick, I guess. But the passer rating's there for us. I don't know. But regardless, this is the year to do it. It would be so fitting to meet the Panthers in the Super Bowl. And we lost to the Bengals last time. We didn't click the first of many, so we're going to try to change that, change the mood a little bit, and we're going to play it cool. Hey, relax, bro. Maybe we'll win. No risk, no reward. Yeah, well, at least it's no risk, no giving up like crazy morale, It's usually what happens. 93 overall to the 89 overall. This is it. Win or lose, this is the last season. Here we go to the end of the game. Huge touchdown to start. Forced the turnover. Didn't do anything with it. They got the ball back. They are now tied the game. We're up by 7. We stop them. We get the ball back. We turn it into 3. We get a huge rushing touchdown with Jacobs, it would appear. Give up a touchdown. Get another touchdown. 31-14 in the third. They're only down by 14 after a field goal. We get a touchdown, and they turn the ball over, giving us our revenge and our spot in the AFC Championship round. Looking at the numbers, that is not the numbers. Looking at the numbers now, quarterbacks both threw a lot of picks, but our guy was better technically. Jacobs killed it. Obviously, he had like a huge run of 94 yards, which is insane for him. Of course, Devonta Adams did well. So did Chase. T. Higgins did well. Darren Waller did well. Renfro did well. Hurst was all right. 3 touchdowns for Ayuk, though, which is the most important out of all the numbers. Max Crosby, 2 sacks. Kenny Clark with 1. A couple of sacks elsewhere. Picks for Albert, 2 of them. The backup. He's playing a lot of different backup roles. He is quite the talent. I wonder what his actual man coverage is right now, because I think they've been upgrading his hybrid, which, 84 man coverage is basically a corner waiting to start. And I forgot the first of many. No! Oh, wow, the Texans, bruh. I don't know what their team looks like right now, because you can see, Daxton Hill is there, Derek Brown's there, but if we lose to the Texans, some riots are about to start. I'll put it that way. On the other side, you have Tampa and Atlanta. I'd probably rather play Tampa, but both playbooks are pretty sick. But yeah, at this point, I'd probably rather play Tampa, I think. We give up a touchdown. We give another touchdown. We score one, though. We can score in a hurry, but the Texans are really building themselves a hell of a lead here. And this game looks like it's already over. With the momentum, the way this is swinging, they're just crushing us, which, once again, probably highlights EA Sim issues, although we're not done yet. It's a long shot, but the chance is there. 3rd and 4 with a whole lot of clock left. Bringing a bit of heat. Going to trust the pass rushers of this team, and I think you go 0. I think you bring the damn safety as well. And Trayvon! Got to do better than that, Hobbs. I know, Cooks is great and all that, but you got to do better than that. And, of course, a huge, that's what a 15-yard penalty looks like, right? Oh, loss of yards with a sack. They gained some yards, 3rd and 14. At this point, you pretty much have to go with, do they not have, I was about to say mid-blitz. They're the 31. You pretty much need to sack them or force a, interception because of the pressure. And there's no one out there, and they're also going to call a late hit, which is absurd. Oh, my ref ball. Really? You think fans are going to want to see that? Wow. Penalty on the offense. Guys, can we do something here? 3rd and 9, 4th and 1. A lot of run plays, they want us to lose the game or something. I would rather throw the ball here and not lose because of that. Devonta on that outside here. Gonna be honest, I predetermined the hell out of that, but it is Devonta after all. We're gonna try to make the comeback. Screw it. Ayuk one-on-one. He's got a little bit of speed. Might be able to win that one-on-one over there. I don't know if I said one-on-one enough or not. Waller gets a nice 15-yarder. They're obviously kind of protecting a little bit here. They did back off. Let's go with the play action. Come on, hurry up. We got to throw it away. Damn it. 57 seconds. But we do have all 3 timeouts. Obviously, at this point, you still go for the onside kick if we even have the chance to. Devonta might be my guy. I got to take him, I think. And every time, dude, I throw the ball up, and the game is still nah, you can't get back to the ball, bro. You made a bad read. You live with it. It's like, that's not how it works, dude. I'm throwing the ball up here, and Devonta's still running, even though I slow him down. Look how long he takes to slow down. I'm slowing him down right here. You could see me slowing down because he's turning directions. The game still makes me go all the way back here. Bro, that's such an L, dude. The question is, would we have stopped him anyways? And the answer is no. So we lose to the Houston Texans, who I'm sure are ultra deserving, more than our team, obviously. And then they kicked my ass right out of the game. Okay, I guess I'm not even going to be able to see the box score. But unfortunately, always a bridesmaid, never the bride. Headed to the Super Bowl, see who wins this matchup. If it's the Panthers, I'm going to be so mad. Oh yeah, what am I talking about? The Panthers. It was Falcons versus Buccaneers, so at least that matchup wasn't squandered by us. And of course, if they can beat us, they can beat anybody, and that would be the Texans winning the Super Bowl over the Falcons. I think people would be pretty cool with that matchup. Both of those teams, I don't think people would mind seeing win. We'll obviously take a look at our team, but before then, I wanted to see the devs, which obviously you have Hunter deving up, Stanley deving up. This is a sick team. As far as like devs and talent-wise, this might be one of our best. It really is. Like, we haven't had this many like superstar / X Factors in some time. Let's take a look at who maybe has retired anyone from us. And that is the perfect time to call it, like I said. Haven't signed is one thing, but Devonta, who may have taken a 2-year 52 from us and walked, has retired after 13 years in the league. So, yeah, I don't know about that now. I think we've called it at the right time, because if you lose Devonta, I mean, you're losing a lot of talent. But let's take a look at the roster. We didn't really care too much about what Devonta looked like anyways, because he was pretty much 99 across the board to start, so it's not like we developed him or anything. But Ayuk, not really like we developed him either, but that's how he finished. Let's take a look at Josh Jacobs real quick. Mr. Josh Jacobs, 99 overall, 97 trucking, 92 stiff arm. Maybe upgraded his speed once, maybe excel a little bit. Juke moves 89, so he's actually really talented. Let's take a look at Renfro regress. I really don't want to see him. It's like, beating up on the wounded. Go with an upgrade for Edwards, who's a 98 overall X Factor, one of the best quarterbacks in the entire league. And he looks like it. I mean, outside of play action, he is literally the perfect quarterback, at least for Sim, because obviously you'd want some speed, but it be what it be. We obviously lost our right tackle to retirement. These old linemen don't really matter too much as they're random guys, and they really never got up there. But Colton Miller, God tier pass blocker, decent pass block power guy. I suppose we'll look at the linemen on the interior, whatever, even though they're going to suck. AJ Rucker, run block power. He's a really bad run blocker. Holy, dude. And then the right guard, good power blocker in general, which is what you're focused on. You can't really get, as you can see, I mean, if he's like this many years in as a star out the gate starter, and you can only get to like mid-80s at best at one style, you'll never get it for both styles. So it's like you might as well just be really good at one style than be average or below average at both. Parrish, obviously, we kind of took a look at it already, but really talented player. That was our generational, obviously, player. Then we'll take a look at Hobbs, who we obviously looked at recently enough. How fast did he end up? 91 speed. Yeah, I mean, really good zone corner. I'd definitely put slot on him, though. I would not want to make him just a pure zone corner. That's just kind of an L, especially for Madden this year. Tompkins, an 88 overall, who was really good. 98 power move, super strong, old as hell looking, but super good and still super talented and young. Kenny Clark wasn't ours to develop. Hurts, didn't really care too much about. Max Crosby we'll take a look at. He is now 30 and potentially a free agent. His block shed's a little iffy. Power move's not great, but finesse is solid, and he was a really good player for us. Just a really smart player as well. You see a lot of high awareness, play rec, and tackling and all that. Daniel Hunter wasn't ours to progress either. Merrick's 87 overall. Guy we really didn't talk about at all, but 92 zone coverage, 89 hit power, 89 awareness. Pursuit and play rec's lacking a little bit, but he's a really good corner. Outside of that, very athletic as well, good catching. And then Abram, who I'm pretty sure is actually not great, even though he's a 91 overall. 83 zone, 93 hit power, but he's more of a smarter guy than he is like pure coverage. It's a very interesting way to be developed. It's like run support. It's kind of strange. And then the two Stanleys. The double Stanley Cup. Very good with tackling, solid zone coverage, okay block shedding, still some ways to go, but 93 speed. He's a absolute speed demon freak. And then the true Stanley, Taylor Stanley, the X Factor, Block shed's pretty bad, but his zone coverage he's literally maybe not as fast to play it, but he could literally play safety or maybe even corner, which is just insane. And then special teamers, AJ Cole, I guess we'll take a look at. 89 overall, 96 kick power, 96 accuracy, 80 awareness. And then the kicker, who was really good out of the gate, 87 overall, still 26 only, 99 kick power, 87 kick accuracy, and 80 awareness. That is going to be it, though, for our realistic style rebuild of the Las Vegas Raiders. Of course, a team that had all the talent in the world and probably should have won multiple Super Bowls, couldn't even get to one, but that's more of a division and EA Sim type of thing, so it's not really much we could have done about it. So other than me forcing wins behind the scenes or something, it was kind of just a GG. We just got EA'd pretty much, and yeah, the roster was insane all the way through, even to this point. Losing the right tackle and Devonta Adams, you'd still have a decent enough team to make the playoffs, especially since we went 16-1, even after that. So rebuild successful, just no Super Bowl trip or win, which is kind of a fail rebuild, if you will. So it is what it is. There's only so much you can control. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. Once again, let me know what team you'd like to see next, realistic style-wise or fantasy. And I think one of my next rebuilds, maybe even Sunday's rebuild, might be just a fantasy draft rebuild. I might either rebuild the perfect fantasy draft team, the first fantasy draft team I ever did, or just a brand new fantasy draft, which I think would probably be the most fun out of all three. So we'll see. Anyways, like I said, maybe leave a like, subscribe for new. If you're not new, really appreciate your continued support. Maybe hit that bell notification if you haven't, or whatever. Follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr, second channel PK plays for non-Madden stuff, and that is it. I actually uploaded it for the first time in like a month on the second channel yesterday, so maybe check it out. Always in the community tab, or just hit the channels tab and it'll show you. But that's it. Hope you guys come back for the next video, which probably will be my Vikings franchise tomorrow, and then Saturday I would say is Vikings franchise and Seahawks franchise, maybe even a third video of one of those two franchises as well. We'll see, but at least 2 videos, and then a rebuild on Sunday, like I said. So that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys come back for the next video. But until next video, see ya!